Hey guys, Alex here with Serious Goose Games. Welcome back to our Unity Tactics RPG tutorial. Last time we built a battle grid by using code to instantiate it at runtime. Today we're going to be making that grid interactive by making tiles change color when we hover over them or click them, which is going to be the base for a character movement. Now, if you're familiar with Unity or you're coming from older versions of Unity, Unity is doing away with its old input manager system. It's moving to the input system package. Now in the settings, you can change it so it can use either one or just the old system or just the new system. We're going to use the new system in the hopes that maybe we learn something and to encourage us all to embrace change. But in order for this to work and do what we want it to do, we're going to need to add a couple things to our scene. The first thing we want to add is an event system, and that handles all of our mouse clicks and kind of our mouse hovering over things. So we're going to right click in our hierarchy. We're going to go down to UI, and we're going to add an event system. I'm not going to bother changing its name. It's the only one we're going to have. The next thing we need to add is on our main camera. So if we select our main camera in the hierarchy, in the inspector, we're going to click the add component button. And in this little search bar, because trying to navigate these windows or these little submenus is awful. In the search bar, we're going to look for raycaster. And we want a physics raycaster. Make sure you're not selecting the 2D one. We are working in 3 dimensions. And don't choose the graphic raycaster. We just want the physics raycaster. We don't need to change any of these settings. Once that's done, we're going to expand our tile script. So go to your scripts folder and double click to open it up. So inside here, we need to create some colors. These are going to be the colors that when we hover over it, it'll change to a yellow, or when we click it, it'll change to a blue. So we're going to do a header and call it colors. And under this header, we're going to create a public color. And this is going to be called original color. This is going to be the original color of that tile. Now we're going to create another color, so public color. This is going to be highlight color. And this is going to be set to be equal to color.yellow. And the last color we want is if it's selected, so public color, selected color. This is going to be equal to color.blue. Now we want to grab a couple of references. The first is going to be a reference to our renderer. So private renderer, tile renderer. And now we're going to create a private static tile called selected tile. Now we're going to bring back the start method. So void start, or private void start. And inside here, we're going to assign our tile renderer reference. So tile renderer is equal to get component in children renderer. Now, before we continue here, we're going to take a small detour over to our grid manager, and inside generate grid, underneath where we assign tile script.grid position, we're going to grab tile script dot original color is equal to renderer.material.color. So that's going to make sure that when we spawn in that tile, its original color is immediately going to be set to whatever color it is. So back in our tile script, the next thing we need to do is add a new namespace. So using Unity engine .event systems. So after that, we're going to grab those interfaces. So next to mono behavior, we're going to do a comma. We need iPointer enter handler, iPointer exit handler, and iPointer down handler. Now it's going to yell at you because we haven't actually implemented any of those interfaces yet. And before we do that, we're going to create a little helper function. It's going to be public void change color. We're going to pass in a color called new color. And all we're going to do in here is grab our tile renderer, material.color and set it to be equal to the new color. Now we're going to implement the interfaces, and we're going to start with onPointer enter. So public void onPointer enter. Pointer event data, event data. And then inside here, so when we hover over a tile, which is what onPointer enter is, we're going to check if the selected tile is not equal to this tile. Then we're going to change the color to the highlight color. So if this tile is not selected and we hover over it, we're going to highlight it. Next, we're going to do the opposite function, which is public void onPointer exit. And inside it is essentially going to be the same idea, except when we change the color, we're changing it to the original color, not the highlight color. And the last interface we need to implement is our onPointer down. So public void onPointer down. And for each one of these, you need to pass in pointer event data. So if we have a selected tile, if selected tile, then we want to reset the color of our selected tile back to its original color. If we don't have a selected tile, then it doesn't really matter. But we do want to select this tile after we click on it. And then we're going to change the color to selected color. Now make sure you save all of the code, and then you can head back to Unity and hit play. Once your grid is generated, you should be able to see the tiles highlight yellow when you hover your mouse over them. And if you click your mouse, you should see the tile you click turn blue. When we move our mouse off of the blue tile, it stays blue. So these interactions, they might not seem like much, but they form the basis for so many systems in our tactics RPG. So this is how we determine movement. It's how we determine attacking. Any environmental interactions we include. This system is basically how we do it. So it might not be very impressive yet, but it's important, and it's going to allow us to build off of it to create much more impressive systems. And in the next video, we're going to start implementing our character movement so that we can actually have something moving on the screen. And that's going to help our project start feeling a little more alive. That's all for today, though, so if you enjoyed this episode, hit like so more devs can find this series, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. In the comments, let me know, would you prefer your tactics game to use mouse clicks or have a selection indicator you move with the keyboard? I'm a little partial to mouse myself. As always, thanks for watching. I'm Alex with Serious Goose Games, and I'll see you in the next one.